Hello and welcome to the Planning for Pet Photographers workshop for 2022 with the Pet Photographers Club. I'm your host, Caitlin McCall. I'm one half of the Pet Photographers Club. I have been a full-time pet photographer with my business Ragamuffin Pet Photography for over a decade now. And if you have been following us for a while, been a member of the club for a while, then you probably know that I am a complete self-confessed goal setting geek. So I am really excited to dive into the reset and review process that I take my own business through every January and share that with you today. Now, a little bit of housekeeping before we dive in. If you're watching this right now, it means that you are watching just a wee snippet of the workshop. If you would like to dive into the full workshop where we cover how to set your core values, how to review and reset the previous year, how to pick a focus word, all that kind of juicy goal setting goodness stuff, then you can head over to thepetphotographersclub.com/plan to grab the full workshop. And that includes a bonus printable, downloadable, fill-outable workbook that goes alongside this workshop. I highly recommend that you print this out. So it's a workbook for you to fill in. It goes alongside the slides and the presentation that I'm giving about goal setting and planning for 2022. I'm usually a digitally inclined person. I like to have all my tasks, my calendar and everything online, digital for me to access while I'm on the computer. But when it comes to goal setting, I'm a big believer in sticking to good old traditional pen and paper. I think there is something that really ingrains it into your being, into your soul when you're actually writing down your goals. So yeah, I highly recommend that you actually print off that workbook. I tried not to put too many colors in there, so it's not going to stress out your printers. So yeah, print it out, fill it along. Feel free to pause this video or pause any of the lessons as we go along, just so that you can take a moment to really fill out the workbook and take the time to set it out correctly for yourself. And then you can have it somewhere accessible so that you can actually review it throughout the year. So yeah, without any further ado, let's dive into planning for pet photographers. I've given you a section in here to do a brain dump. I highly encourage you, before you try and write down your goals for the next 12 months, to do a brain dump of all the business ideas, projects, goals, dreams, everything that's currently floating around in your head and creating all that white noise. Get them out and onto paper. Really take the time to do this. Like, set a timer for 10 minutes. Get that piece of paper, get everything out of your head. Once you've dumped all your ideas, you've got a really great starting place to pick out what you want to work from. All right, setting our goals. We like to use SMART goals. I'm sure you've probably heard of SMART goals before. It's an acronym that's used in goal setting, and it helps you really clarify your ideas and focus your efforts. So SMART, it stands for specific. I like to use the 5W questions. So what do I want to accomplish? Why is this goal important? Who is involved? Where is it located? Which resources are involved? Measurable. So measurable goals allow you to track your progress, stay motivated, to know when your goal has been achieved. So rather than, I want to grow my business in 2022, a measurable goal would be, I want to book 60 clients in 2022. So they need to address, how much, how many, how will I know that it's accomplished? Achievable. So be careful when you're setting goals that someone else has power over. So for example, if you wouldn't want to set the goal of, I want to get a project, I want to get my book project, Tales of Melbourne, featured in a newspaper, because really that depends on the decision of the newspaper. So it's potentially an unachievable goal. However, if I was to make my goal, I want to write a press release about Tales of Melbourne and send it to 15 different contacts, then that's achievable. That's a goal that I can actually reach and hopefully accomplish with the same result without it being dependent on someone else. Relevant, does the goal align with your own priorities, your core values, your focus word, your dream day, that kind of thing. And then finally, time bound. Every goal needs a target date, a deadline to work towards. So even though that date might change, having that target date set for you to be working towards is really, really important. So I want to publish that Tales of Melbourne book by October 2022. As I said at the start of today, we are going to be focused more on how to set your business goals rather than personal goals. But you can't do a good job if your job is all you ever do. And I think it is really important that you take the time to set some goals, targets for yourself in the personal areas of your life. So for me, those areas are financial, health and well-being, relationships, personal growth. You might want to add some more areas. I know spirituality is one that a lot of people like to set goals for. And make these fun if you want. A goal can be, I want to take a road trip down the Great Ocean Road, for example, or a goal might be that I want to go on a date once a month with my partner. To protect yourself from burnout, it's so important to make sure that we set goals for ourselves that can be fun or that can push ourselves personally that have nothing to do with our business as well. Now, let's dive into the business goals. So your big goal, I mentioned that at the start. I love a big goal when you're goal setting, a single overarching goal that you're focused on. If you do nothing else in 2022, but you do achieve this goal, you will be ecstatic. That's your big goal. So I then like to give myself one business goal per quarter. It might not necessarily work that neatly for you, but I think in general, it's a nice way to, every 3 months you have one main goal that you're working towards. So goal 2, 3, 4, and 5 are quarterly goals for me. And then you have your big goal. Also works to keep things manageable and makes it really easy when it comes to creating your marketing calendar as well. So there's an actual format that I want you to use when you are writing out your goals. That is to write the goal, then the timeline, the how, and the measure. So start with an overview of what your goal is. Make sure it's specific, achievable, and relevant, going back to those SMART framework. Next, you want to clearly define a timeline. So when are you going to do this? When is this goal going to be achieved? What is the end date for this goal? A how are you going to do it? You can break it down into little baby steps. These will give you focus and direction in each quarter. And then measure what metrics will you use to measure whether or not this goal was achieved. Once you've clearly defined your big goal, please write it down and display it somewhere that you will see every day. If you have a goal, write it down. If you do not write it down, you do not have a goal, you simply have a wish. And tell people about your big goal. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your partner, tell your best friend, tell your mum, whoever it is. If you are a member of the Pet Photographers Club, we're going to have a post in the mastermind group where you can share your big goal for 2022. I highly encourage you to do that. We will all be each other's cheerleaders, and in January 2023, I am going to bring that post back up again so it can be a little bit of extra motivation for us all to actually get our big goal achieved, and also a great way to celebrate that being achieved in 12 months' time. So personally, I like to write it on a little index card and tape it onto the computer. I can see mine here, and then that way you see what you're working towards every single day. And boy, does that keep you focused. My goal was maintain a 3-day work week and have every second Saturday for shoots without sacrificing my business or revenue. So I went from 6 days to 3 days because I knew that I would have to slow down my business significantly. My timeline for me was until maternity leave started. The how was by prioritizing projects, committing to my daily top 3. So I like to set the 3 most important things that I'm going to do each day, and outsourcing and automating any tasks. And then the metric was a baseline revenue for 2021. So having a look at everyone's goals here, amazing. So Angela's big goal is book number 2. Darlene's big goal is money, 150,000 in sales. And it's written huge on the whiteboard. Love that. Oh, Nicole's got the same big goal. Big money. I find a big money goal or a big, like I said, client goal is really, really powerful as if you're working to build your business up. Angelica, I'm just getting started, so having at least one client. 5 clients, Angelica. And finally, our marketing calendar. So once you have your top 5 goals for 2022, your big annual goal plus 1 for each quarter, then you can start to fill in that marketing calendar. So you can do this using a big year at a glance calendar on your wall, just with pen and paper. Keep it digital using, Google Calendars or something like Airtable. Whatever works for you and your system is totally fine, as long as it's something that you actually can refer to. So creating a marketing calendar is a whole other workshop that we will be running, and we are running out of time anyway, so lucky. But if that's something that interests you, then yeah, definitely stay tuned. We've got that coming up at the beginning of February, how to actually fill a whole marketing calendar. But basically what you want to do is identify any important dates, so both public holiday dates, Christmas, Easter, whatever public holidays are relevant to you. And then personal dates like birthdays, vacations, any reasons why you wouldn't want to be having a marketing campaign going at that time. You also need to identify how long a project goal or marketing strategy is going to take, including the planning, execution, and follow-up, the shooting, the editing, the sales, that kind of thing. And this way you have a really big picture idea of what you'll be focusing on for the rest of your year. So I've got a little calendar right at the end of the workbook, if you want to jot down some potential goals, where those might be, marketing campaigns that might play into those goals. Don't forget to leave yourself space for rest. Even if your focus word of the year is hustle, I still want you to give yourself a little breathing space in between marketing campaigns to recollect yourself, to have a look, review what went right, what went wrong, and just to give yourself a little bit of time off so you don't burn out. As I said, the marketing calendar workshop is coming up on Tuesday, 1st of February. It's a really intensive, really interactive workshop. Like, we will be creating your individual marketing calendar during the workshop. So if that's something that you're keen on, stay tuned for that. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming through this process with me. As I said at the start, as I warned you, I do get really geeky about goal setting, but I think that it's really powerful, and I'm excited for you guys to do this as well. I hope you print it out and refer back to it. And I'm really looking forward to, in January next year, seeing where you all went with your goals, seeing who achieved them. We are here for you all year. Consider us your cheerleaders. If you're a member of the Pet Photographers Club, there's that mastermind group. So we'd love to see everyone's goals written down there so we can actually check in and cheer each other on. I am going to toddle off. Good night, good afternoon, good morning, wherever it is that you are. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.